They came for a woman we will call Susan. Her children have seen them too. Like many of the others, she's afraid to talk openly about what has happened to her.
The next thing I remember is being in the air, going up, away from the highway, just sort of floating. I have the feeling of two beings beside me, but I cannot see them, and going into a ship. And then I was examined. They did some sort of procedure. On my left side, it's sketchy memories. It's almost as though time is cut, and I don't have a continuous memory. It's very disjointed, and it's very disturbing.
Marketing executive Joan Victoria says she has been visited since childhood.
They were these 5 beings, these small, short type of life forms. And I remember running to the back door of my parents' home, trying to get in. And then being taken up and feeling very, very compacted, and then being in the dark, and then seeing a really fine beam of light and realizing I was traveling toward that beam. I can't even convey to anybody the terror that was felt by that child at that time. It's just, it would take, literally your breath away because you were so afraid.
Dr. John Mack is a respected Harvard psychiatrist and a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. Despite a reputation and a career to lose, he insists publicly that he has over 90 patients who have been abducted by aliens. Today, his professional life is devoted to his program for extraordinary experience research.
Clinically, I judge them to be speaking authentically, not getting this from some other source, not displacing from some trauma. It is what it is. And I say that, and I ask my critics, find the beginning of an explanation that accounts for this entire phenomenon. And then there's silence.
Each thought he was alone, almost hoped to be found delusional. Instead, they found they share an extraordinary reality with hundreds of others. Each story like all the others.
I mean, you put me through psychological testing to rule out delusions, to rule out sexual abuse or child abuse or any psychosis or neurosis that the normal psychiatric community would say were the reasons for these memories.
Yes, actually, you came out healthier than the average of the population. I want you to know.
One of the most convincing facts to Dr. Mack is that so many tell the same story. Many have conscious memories of their abductions. Some remember only fragments. But in hypnotic regression sessions with Dr. Mack, memories become very real.
You can't do this to me. Honestly, no, you can't do this to me. Just can't do this to me anymore. Stop it!
In this tape made 2 years ago by Canada's CBC television, Peter hears one of his own regression sessions for the first time.
Just do this anytime you want.
That's it. What's happening?
It's taking me.
Where are you?
I'm laying on a table.
How old are you?
18, 19.
Want to express it more? The anger?
It's a trauma on 4 levels. It's a trauma because the thing itself is so traumatic, to be helpless, to be taken against your will and subjected to these intrusive rape-like procedures. It's traumatic because of the isolation that people feel. They can't talk about it. The parents will say, well, that's your dream again, or your nightmare. Thirdly, it is philosophically shocking to people's worldview. I mean, this is not supposed to be. This, in our worldview, this is beyond extraordinary. It's impossible. And then the fourth thing is that it can recur at any time. I mean, it's not like other traumas that are over when they're over. They can be taken again.
It was clear from the beginning that the sperm that was being taken from me was for some reason. And I wasn't sure of that, but I was aware that it had something to do with breeding and reproducing. And then it became clear to me later that I was somehow producing offspring.
I have been presented with children that are half human, half alien, and been told that they're mine. From the stories that I'm hearing from others, it seems like there is a widespread breeding program going on.
Susan insists she has carried alien pregnancies.
I started to lose my waist. After about 4 months, it became unmistakable. I could feel the baby rolling and kicking. I had colostrum come in.
Now this is critical. Your husband
Had a vasectomy, yes. It was not his child, obviously, and I'm as faithful as the day is long. I had no explanation for it. Between the time that I went to see Dr. Mack and then the time that I went to see the gynecologist, the baby was taken. And I woke up in the morning knowing that the child was gone.
Susan says every member of her family has seen the aliens. Both your children have had encounters.
My daughter has had one encounter where she woke up around 7 in the morning to find a gray alien standing in her bedroom. I was waking up to hear my daughter screaming. When my son has things happen, typically I will have the same thing happen the same night. He'll talk about the little man coming.
Susan says her husband never believed her until he had an experience of his own.
My husband didn't believe me at first, which I fully understand. Here he is sleeping in the bed next to me and he wasn't seeing anything. This went on for about 6 months with me trying to convince him. Finally, when I got to the deepest level of frustration, they came to the bedroom one night and showed themselves to him. And from that day on, he's been a staunch supporter. He believes because he's seen them.
Peter's wife, Jamie, faced an impossible choice. Either her husband was crazy, or what he experienced was real. A powerful experience that she is excluded from, perhaps forever.
I think that what affected me the most is that in feeling the withdrawal in our relationship and then finding out that there was a female alien that Peter was connected with, it felt that he couldn't, there was a time when I said, it doesn't feel like you're here with me. You know, are we in relationship here together or what? And his answer was, no, I'm not here totally with you. I am split. The emotional splitting, like the splitting of his heart, perhaps we might say, that it's half here and half there. So that the full longing of connection with me wouldn't be possible. And that was really upsetting.
I feel a split very often between here and my commitment to my life here. And that includes Jamie, that includes my profession, that includes my friends and family and everything that I know and am working towards here on Earth. And what I also feel is this deep involvement with the extraterrestrials, and that I've had some kind of ongoing relationship with them since I was a child. It appears that there's going to be some future event that I'm going to be involved in, at least that's the feeling I have, and that when that time comes, I don't know what's going to happen. So it's a constant conflict in my marriage, in my profession, in my life, just in my everyday existence. So I have to keep that I am Peter, I am married, I am a human, I live here, I have a job, I have my work, my clients, and that this is what's important today. And when and if the ETs show up, then I'll deal with that when it happens.
It's my honest feeling that this is a spiritual awakening, a growth process. I think the time has come where they're trying to contact us.
Some intelligence is entering into our world that we do not control, that is not simply a projection of the human mind, and that intelligence has a purpose of some sort.